Yo, welcome to
Blackopolypse.
Yeah.
Blackopolypse.
Yeah.
Blackopolypse.
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 That lovely lady there in the middle is my
Blackopolypse.
long lost sister with my brother.
Coming live and direct from Rowley Winky's garden.
What's happening, guys, man? Welcome to Blackopolypse Podcast Media. I got Nigel, Simon, and Leanne. Drinking wine. Actually, I don't even know if can Leanne hear us at all.
Hold on, if I turn this sideways, will it go bigger?
Yeah, turn it sideways, man.
I can hear.
Is that better?
Oh,
that's better.
Look at that.
Oh, it's got
finally. We've been saying this for years. Turn you.
What's that?
Phone this way, landscape.
Yeah, but you know something? It wouldn't work before, but the thing is, I can't do it on my computer.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Wait there, but your computer would already be landscape, wouldn't it?
I don't know what it's doing, man. Damn thing. Damn. What's yours? In fact, no, listen, we'll talk about this after. This is the show, man. Let's not talking about specifications and Zoom specifications, right?
Talk about specifications, man. I ordered a Mac today. Last week, I ordered a new Mac.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man. I don't know what it is, man, but my credit card was declined or something went wrong, man. I was like sad, because we're like, yeah, it's on the way. I was like,
you know what that is? You know what that is, don't you? That is the gods of money saying, save your money, Wayne. Don't waste your money upon the new computer. You don't need no new computer yet, Wayne. Hang on to your pennies because something better is going to come along, or even cheaper.
I don't know, a Mac. Have you ever tried to buy a Mac?
Dude, what we're in so early, man, we need to discuss this hair. I need to get a good look at this hair. What's going on here?
Which hair? Leanne's or mine?
Your hair. No, Leanne's hair is amazing. Like, it's amazing, natural. You go, sister.
Wayne's got it toned down now. You had what was that style you said last week?
I had the 4 pom-poms in it. The 4 pom-poms.
The pom-pom head.
Yeah.
Let me have a look at this hair, man. Show me this hair, man.
But it's you know what it is? I actually just the hairstyle I did last night. I just twisted it. That's it. I just twisted it up because it was out of control. So it's nothing. It's not like back in the day. Remember when he used to have the plaits or even the cornrows going to the side? It's not like that. I mean, it is kind of like that, but it's just twists, man. That's it. Just twist it.
As my nan would say, "Him here pretty as a shame."
How about yourself, Nigel? What regime you got going on with yours?
So I always dissing.
I'm on wind flow right now, so I'm on about being aerodynamic and being able to move quickly.
The velodrome.
Aerodynamic.
Hey, you got a hat on, man. I know. Say your hair ain't gonna last too much longer. You got 10 years left, man, and then you're gonna be joining the Phil Collins crew, mate.
Actually,
I don't mind,
saying that,
once it starts going back like a receding shoreline, man, that's coming off. My mind's boiling off.
Do you think actually wearing a hat contributes to hair loss?
Yep. I used to have beautiful hair, man. I used to wear a hat all the time. You know what killed my hair? I'll be honest. You know what killed my hair?
Permanent.
My mum killed my hair because she
really
said to get it permed.
Oh
yeah. They put battery acid upon my head and expected it to make my hair go straight, and all what happened is my head went crinkled.
Okay. Hey, you know what? We're getting our guest, man. We're getting our guest.
Okay.
Yes.
Where's that guest coming from?
Where there? Let's see. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, sorry.
Was you asleep?
No, I'm here with my brother, and I've totally forgot we were talking about stuff, and I thought somehow it's going to ring me or somebody's going to, like, I don't know. I totally forgot.
Sorry, man.
It's nighttime over there.
No, he's in Germany too, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in Frankfurt right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about like
anyway.
9.
It's like 9:20. This is DJ Sherry, by the way. DJ Sherry's like probably one of the most famous DJs in. Is that an overstatement? I don't know, man. He's one of the most famous German DJs, at least the Frankfurt area,
Yes.
and maybe Germany too. I don't know, man. I think you're quite known in it.
I don't know. Yeah, well, it's one of those things. Yeah, thank you.
Well, anyway, you go. It's like people always ask me, "Yeah, when's DJ Sherry coming back?" I'm like, and that's when I was in Mannheim, when I'm in like Stuttgart, and I'm like, wait there, you know DJ Sherry? Yeah, man, he's one of the best DJs. So you're quite...
Been doing it for a while though. Yeah, maybe that's why.
What genre do you prefer, man?
Well, to be honest, man, I really love music. So I just got this simplest way to look at it. There's either like good music or shit music, at least for me.
What a brilliant answer.
You know, sort of every tune.
I've been saying that for years, man.
Every tune means something to somebody. Some people will say, "Oh my God, what is that?" Others will go, "Oh my, that is beautiful." So you're absolutely right there, man. It's about opinions, but I like that answer.
I catch myself really liking songs in all kinds of genres. You know, like there might be some techno song even that touches me. You know, and depending on the mood, yeah. So
yeah.
As a producer, I've started with like electronic music, but only because it was harder to make money with hip hop, where my heartbeat was going.
Yeah.
I love the hip hop. I lived hip hop. I grew up with hip hop. We were like in the beginning, you know. But unfortunately, especially in Germany, it was really hard to make money on the hip hop side.
Yeah, I suppose it was very underground. The same as the UK, I would imagine, because we're talking about the 80s, 90s.
90s, early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tough time, man. It was. I mean, like, it was good music out there, but I suppose unless you was in the States, that's where the power of the bigger mass market would have kind of really worked out. So,
yeah, man.
So was you a break dancer as well? Did you do any break dancing?
I was never much of a dancer.
I just spin on my head, man. That's why I'm bald. Spin on my head too much.
No, I was too afraid to break my bones, I guess.
Anyway, so DJ, you was like the official. So you started off in hip hop back in the day. You're one of the pioneers in Germany of bringing hip hop to Germany.
In fact, yes. Like when I started DJing, of course there was nowhere hip hop in the clubs or hip hop, and you still had it was always the clubs demanding certain music, or also being scared of like the hip hop crowd could be less spending money or something. I don't know. It was always those fears, and when I started hip hop at the Dorian Gray airport, the airport itself was such a wicked place. It was like one of the top clubs in the world. Yeah. Just the fact it was inside the Frankfurt airport, and also it was known for techno. Okay. And I came in Friday, and the name of the day was Techno Club, but the Dorian Gray itself had like different clubs inside, right? Okay. So I went for the small club, and I was like, look, guys, I'm not going to go with techno. So I don't know why we came up with some stupid name. It was called Easy Going. And it was just on the easy going. It was like the easy going side. And I stopped playing hip hop. And funny thing was like back then, the techno kids, they would always wear Adidas suits, right, with the 3 stripes and stuff. And me coming from hip hop, that was like so hip hop to me. So it was just natural for me to just start my own hip hop day over there. And I infected, I remember there was so many of those hardcore techno fans that became my hip hop heads.
Really?
Wicked.
They didn't have to buy new clothes. They could just keep with
go straight from one to the other, man. That's it.
Yeah, so we developed like a hip hop Oasis in Frankfurt, and I remember the first music magazines and stuff would put reports about it, that there's actually a club playing hip-hop. It was so like, wow, in Germany, hip-hop. And it developed quite fast, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I've met people who would, like, especially German guys, who will say hip hop was invented in Germany, and I'm like, no. I swear, I've heard this.
Dirk von Turk Nick Anyway, yeah, no.
You're saying hip hop was done in Germany?
Just some German boys who probably listen to some sort of German hip hop and then decide that.
I suppose the thing is, you know, because I suppose there is German hip hop, isn't there? And you know what amazes me. Yeah, but what amazes me is when so for example, France, when you go to Turkey, North Africa, you know, a lot of countries have got their own, what we would class as hip hop. But I suppose the origins always kind of are what we'd say based in, you know, America. But, you know, hip hop's in every culture, man. Even when I went to Bali last year, there's some Bali guys singing some hip hop tunes, man. The tunes was heavy, you know. I don't understand the word they were saying, but I know the beats was heavy.
Russian hip hop was good, actually. Russian hip hop.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. So
again, so it brings us to the point, like, let's just keep music as good and bad music, and some. I mean, it's all about rhythm, and it's so hard to say. I was talking to Curtis Blow, like Curtis Blow, the daddy of hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
And even he was saying, like, man, this rap thing goes so far back. Like, even in the 20s, guys would like rap to the girls, or, you know, like be rude, or, you know, turn cover rap.
Yeah.
So it goes way back, and music is like we're all born with the heartbeat, so already we get the rhythm.
Yeah, like, for real, man, for real. Because there's certain tunes that just rock your heart, man. Simon knows that, man. Simon knows that. The music, man.
So anyway, so you started off. Who were like the pioneers then? Like, obviously, of German hip hop. Because when did that must have came around? Because it was like, I don't know if it was Fantastic Four or some guys.
Yeah, there was two groups at the same time. It was the 3P crew, like the Rödelheim Hartheim project, where I was kind of involved in. Sorry. And then there was the Fantastic Four. Yeah, there was like the two hip hop pioneers in Germany. Yeah.
And it's still going on now, in Fantastic Four, because I heard they released a song a year ago or something.
Well, they're grandpas now, aren't they?
But they're old, man, but they're still doing the songs. I'm like, what?
In America, still got some of the OGs and still doing their thing right now, you know.
Yeah.
They're more invested in the young and helping the next generation, but they're passing on their knowledge.
Unfortunately,
you know,
none of it is relevant. Maybe it's relevant to them. I'm not dissing anyone, but unfortunately, the music industry won't allow this to be relevant. The music has become something like I look at it or compare it to food. Of course, we have good restaurants, brilliant chefs, and we have McDonald's and Burger King. And music has come to the point where the industry don't support. They won't support the good chef because they're too expensive. There's too much. Like some brilliant artists like Prince is just headache for the company. He's not controllable. Yeah. So instead, they rather keep the fast food going, and music is so. I remember, like, when I was 14, I used to love a song, go on the bike for days, try and find the record, and still I know where the record is because I still love that record, you know.
Yeah.
And
I feel that.
Now, like, compared to my daughter, she goes and buys the Beyonce album, and then 5 days later, she's killing it off her iTunes because she's buying a new album, and she's like, "Yeah, I've listened to it for 5 days."
Yeah,
you know, that's the life of albums
man.
today.
Seriously, man. I used to buy albums, and they would literally be. I never used to buy singles. If I ever heard a song, I'd always go and look for the album by that artist or that group. Yeah. And generally, you'd pick up some gems. What you'd never hear in the club, you'd never hear them out. But if you ever like DJ'd with them and people heard them, like, yeah, where's this tune from? But I've got certain albums that used to be on rotation. Street Sounds Volume 1, I think, with Dreamer. Sitting back without a word. I'm not going to try and sing it, I'll ruin it. But listen, man, that was on rotation, man. A-side and B-side, then A-side, then B-side, then A-side, then B-side. So I wore out needles, man. But you're right, man. Right now, it's so instamatic. It's like having a meal, isn't it? Oh, I can get my Drake fix by downloading,
if Drake and Chris Brown, they're like releasing almost 2, 3, 4 albums in a year.
Yeah,
that means they're already coming with expiration dates. It's like, it's so
true,
fast. It's just everything happening, and that's what also counts for the rankings on the internet again, because it's a digital world. So they're depending on those frequent releases, and it's just sad the way the music industry takes on one side. On the other side, it's good that people are able to do their own shit as well. You know, you're not really depending on the music industry no more.
Yeah.
In your opinion, we had a discussion about this a couple of weeks ago. Which decade has been the most defining period? The 80s, the 90s, or the noughties, or the 70s? You tell me.
Well, I think, I wish I was there in the 70s. As an adult, like I think it must have been brilliant how the whole disco era was born. Yeah. Disco was something new, and all you really had to do is like just pump up the music, put a mirror ball somewhere. I already had a disco.
Yeah.
And
man.
And
I suppose it was like rave back then. I suppose it was the equivalent of a rave, wasn't it? Because, like you said, pop a glitter ball and put on some juice and everyone lost.
Man, no.
I'm gonna tell you the story of rave. So there's something someone told me before, but so for the disco era, once that was born, and it kept like holding on to the 70s, going to the 80s, but the mid 80s or late 80s, I remember when I came in as a kid, I remember like meeting disco club owners being desperate, because now it wasn't like just a mirror ball wouldn't be enough. They needed more than just a mirror ball. They needed a good system, and they needed good DJs, good music. Yeah. So there was more. And so the disco had developed. It was in its teenage years, and you know, teenagers can be really difficult. So then, so then all these different styles and sounds, and I guess before it was just disco. You know, all you had to do is like play the rhythm and put some, and that was it. Really.
Thunder and lightning, man. I'll mute. Yo, go inside, man. Go on.
What?
Yeah, anyways, but then the rave thing, I remember one time talking to Robert Cool, and he was saying how rave was born. He was saying like back in the days, like the black people in America, they couldn't really go to clubs. They wouldn't let them in. So they would just...
I lived that dream.
Yes. So they would just like, that's how raves, that's what he was telling me, how raves started back then. It was all about like funk I think
I can relate to that, because I mean, being younger, I'm a bit older than these other two young looking princes. And this princess next to me. Me a big man. But I remember being, couldn't get into clubs in the city centre. And either being an excuse, you either had the wrong shoes, the wrong shirt, and then sometimes they just blatantly say, "Nah, mate, we've got enough in tonight." And you'd say, like, enough what? Enough like you. You'd be like, oh, okay. So for me, when rave came around, and it was like, you can wear whatever the hell you like or not. Oh my God, it was like heaven. I'd turn up in my trainers, my shell suit. Something I used to go there looking so ragged on, but it was like, because of the freedom of it, wasn't no dress sense. It was about the music. That for me was a defining. That for me, when I talk about decades, was a defining period, because I think that opened up dance. Good grief, that opened up dance to a much bigger market.
Yes, man.
I'm gonna go on mute, man, because I was gonna let my dog go.
Okay, so DJ.
Yes, man.
DJ Sherry, innit? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you got a question. You got anything you want to ask?
No, I was just saying, did you just get that link I just sent you now?
Yeah, I got the link. Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm saying like there's certain songs that I grew up on that I just like took me back, and I found this tune, and I haven't heard it in like so many years, man. I wanted to know if you remembered it, man. And this was like one of them songs that
Hideaway.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a 90s dance sort of track, and I don't know if that DJ show, sure remember it as well. But have a listen to that if you can get it on. I
don't think this was. No, this was. I mean, I guess I'll put this through the speaker.
Hideaway, I know Hideaway.
Oh, 90s.
DeLacy. Do you know that? Does that ring a bell, DJ Sherry? DeLacy.
I know Hideaway.
I'm shit with names, though.
We can't hear that, by the way, Alstallio.
I can't. It's not loaded. My internet's like really, really bad at the moment. I'll try and get it on in a bit.
I am, man.
So
what was like the songs that are really like blew you away, that just made you have to go into music, or the one that you really want to get on when you
man? There's so many of them. Like, wow.
Okay. I've got a more specific question. Obviously, you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time now. So if you was going to show somebody maybe in 2 or 3 tracks that you are a music connoisseur and that you understand, you've got the A-list, what would you play? Credentials.
Yeah, wow.
Boy, Simon, that's out of order, man. What kind of question is that, man?
You've never been
a professional DJ would have to survey his audience. He'd know his audience. You can't just throw that at him now.
Oh, man. I'm just saying,
if I had an audience of Caucasians and I had to play music to make them happy, I'd be putting on a bit of heavy metal maybe, or something else. But I'm not going to put on no heavy D in the boys. Now that we found love, what are we gonna do? They wouldn't appreciate that. You get me? So
I was enjoying that.
All right.
Yeah. But that one particular tune, like one of my favorite songs. Like if there was a top 10, I would say that one would definitely go in, but not the Heavy D version. I would much more go by the Third World version.
Yeah, the live. Yeah. When I heard that, I think I heard it. It might have been on a radio, or it may be even a record, and it's live, and you can hear the crowd, and you can feel that, feel the actual atmosphere of where they're playing. I think it might be a stadium or something, but yeah.
But man, there's so much diversity. I mean, still one of my still alive favorite artists, of course, Stevie Wonder. Like, it's really hard to top that one. But from the new artists coming up, is nothing that has blown me away. Like what is happening right now is just.
I think they're musically dyslexic. I think music today. I think it has no.
I think the thing is, you got to look. I mean, the thing is
empty, man.
I used to listen to acid music. Now, if I was to put on an acid tune now,
but that's empty too.
Listen, but there's certain tunes that I'd be like, my head would be bouncing. We could be like, yeah, man, I remember. You know, them proper acid.
Yeah, but you had to take something to be.
No. I was listening to that when I was 14, man. I think this is the music that defines them. The thing is, the way to define this music today is, will we still be listening to it in 10 years' time? And the reality is we won't, because right now, if you put on certain tracks from the 80s, 90s, some of the noughties, people can get up and start, there's even kids who are like 7, 8 who are dancing to tunes that we were listening to when we were 7 and 8 or between our teens.
Yeah.
So, I don't think
they don't realise. The funny thing is, Nigel, is that they don't actually realise that we know these songs and that other people sang them usually. Like, it's probably been covered 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
They go, have you heard that tune by, Dizzy Rascal and that? And then it'll be like, well, what song, Money Talks? And I'm like, what are you on about, man? Like, that tune came out like 30 years ago. Dirty Cash, you want to see about Dirty Cash and that? Like, are you going to try and tell me my mum made the tune and that? Like, it just makes me laugh, like. But it's the same even when we was growing up, we listened to a Simply Red tune and think it was like a, I don't know, like an original, it'd be a cover, you know. And
Yeah. Well, even UB40 for a long time, I thought that they did all their own tunes. I was like, yeah, man, they're wicked, you know. And then I found out that 95% of what they do is covers. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Even Red Wine it was sung by Dolly Parton for Backside, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I know one of them, and so I know one of them, so I'm going to not say nothing. I'm going to keep going to be diplomatic.
No, man, they're good. What they do is good. Can't knock it. But Maxi Priest was better.
I love Maxi Priest.
Strolling along with my babe.
I'm pretty sure Nigel's trying to get a record deal today.
Such a feeling. You ain't gonna get no record deal, man. I seem like I'm in Labour.
That's true. Okay, DJ Sherry.
Yes.
So you ended up working with a lot of artists in this, I guess, in the American hip hop scene, and also you managed to get in touch with a guy who's pretty well known, and you became his local DJ, if I understand. For Germany, at least, you became his German DJ. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Talking about Prince. Yeah.
You was the DJ for Prince. I didn't even know that.
Oh, all right. Then all right. So you're talking about Puff Daddy then?
Yeah, I'm talking about Puff Daddy.
Right.
But I didn't know you was the DJ for Prince. Jesus.
Yeah. No, Puffy was great experience though. I wasn't planned for the tour. Like when Puffy came out with the idea to promote his tour, with after parties in the clubs in like 12 important cities, worldwide, was a marketing concept, to get the press and everything there, just to promote his album.
Yeah.
And he was always working with DJ Doo-Wop. That was like his man. Doo-Wop was Puffy's DJ.
Okay.
And for that tour, Doo-Wop became his wife was delivering a baby, so he's like, Sherry, I can't go on this tour. But because I was with a different record company at that point, Puffy didn't want to put me on the tour, so he started with another DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And the first show they had with this other DJ, he canceled it off after like 10 minutes. He left that club and he was like, all right, we're going to cancel the whole thing unless Doo-Wop is going to be able to come. And then Doo-Wop actually was like, Puff, man, you got to try, like, Sherry is my mate. He can do it. And so then I ended up going for the first show, which was in Wiesbaden. That was like the second show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the second show and Puffy came right away. He came downstairs after I was like, maybe 10 minutes. He came downstairs and he didn't even tell his securities he was going to go to the DJ booth, so it was a big chaos because he just ran straight to the people. He actually knocked on my back and he was like, dude, man, first of all, who the fuck are you? And can you come please on tour with me? Would you please do this tour with me? I was like, yeah, I'm Doo-Wop's mate. And so we from that moment we became friends. Like he is very large when it comes to business. He's really cool. He's really fair. And we did many other projects after that. Like at this other artist I was producing, who was supposed to be on Bad Boy, but then he had some trouble because of the shooting. We ended up going with a different record company and stuff, but he was always cool. He was always fair and very large. Yeah.
Okay.
That's some kind of achievement, man. That's a good thing to have on your resume.
So wait there. I don't know about Prince. That's something that's new to me because I know you.
Oh yeah.
Prince, you never told me about Prince. I'm like, huh?
Well, but it's of course, like for me, he was one of my biggest mentors, if you want. But the way I ran into Prince was quite freaky. It wasn't meant to be like. It wasn't planned. He just came into a club I was working that night, and everybody got excited. There were like Prince and his crew, and of course they got the VIP, and I was supposed to DJ that night, so I went outside and smoked a joint, and when I came back in, he smelled it, and then he said, yo man, like next time you go out, I'm sure some of my crew members would love to go with you. And I was like, oh yeah, we can go right away. So we went outside again, And we were smoking, and he was really nice. He was so humble. He would not look into my eyes and talk like with his head down until he was telling me about his new album. And so at that point, I said something that really pissed him off, and I really didn't mean it that way, but it was early 90s, and I knew the sound was like the 90s was the sampling sound. So I said, yeah, man, you working on your new album? Mm-hmm. You should use some sampling sound. You should go for the sampling sound.
Yeah.
And, man, this little guy, it seemed like he grew like a devil, and his voice became a lot. Seriously, he was like...
He had extendable heels in his shoes,
Yeah, but then he was like, he actually, like, kind of yelled at me, like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? Do you like, who even are you to tell me what to do, like?
Yeah.
And I could just, I kept saying, like, I'm sorry and blah, but he was pissed, so they took off. He's like, we're leaving. And, of course, the club manager was really mad. He was like, what did you do? Like, we had Prince in here. And... yeah, and then sometime later, he actually sent some guys to look for me. Like the club owner, like club manager, called me one day. He was like, "Sherry, I think you're in trouble." I was like, "Why? What's happening?" He said, "It's like some dangerous-looking guys looking at you."
That's a big black guy.
And I used to have long hair back then, and he's like, "The way they're describing you, it's like it must be you." And so he passed on. I was like, yeah, but just pass on the phone. And then this deep voice came on. And the Prince wants to talk to you. So he was quite large as well. Like, he actually said, sorry, he didn't mean us to go that way. Like, he didn't want to lose it. But he explained why he lost it. So he explained how he was recording his album. He was saying, like, he recorded more than, like, 600 hours of sessions with, like, brilliant musicians. Mm-hmm. And those sessions that he recorded was going to be his sample material. Like, he was going to sample from
his sample bank. Yeah.
And he explained again, like, he's Prince, he cannot just go and take James Brown's sample. It's not going to work.
Yeah, he's got to create his own. And that's the thing. The guy was unique. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, but there were certain iconic songs that he made. But it's only after he died and I started hearing more and more of what he did, but I realised, my God, this guy was actually a genius.
He was man.
He was a genius. I didn't get it, but obviously it's only, and that's the thing, that is an artist. That is music that will last forever.
The thing that I actually believe that, and the reason why I think that Prince didn't get the props that he got, I mean, he was classed as an icon even in his heyday and stuff, so he got recognition. But he was in a time where there was loads of icons, really floating about. I'd say now we're in an age where there's less and less real, global icons.
But also
Prince was big.
Changed the game.
Prince was big, man.
You should also bear in mind, Prince was like from mid-90s on. He was boycotted by all industry and radio and TV, so he was just on his own. And still, Prince was running an 80 million industry every year. Like he was like turning over like 70 to 80 million each year. Still being boycotted by the radio.
And the nice thing about that as well is because I remember when he did go independent, and obviously the record companies at the time, doom and gloom, oh, you ain't going to be able to do it. And it's good to see an artist who's been able to break away. We've seen it happen, all our lifetimes where they've broken away and they've actually become bigger, better.
Mm-hmm. So more that would explain, actually, that would really explain why we have puppets now, why we have
the manufacture
some puppets being the on the front line, because I mean, like I said, I have nothing against like John Legend, right? But that thing is that it's just a project, you know what I mean? The possibly best way to make it psychologically, all right, we need to make a legend. What else, like, what's the best way? We just call him Legend. That already puts it in your head. That's John Legend. Yeah? But then John Legend can sing like, I mean, he's not the greatest singer. But who gives a fuck if you do the marketing wrong? All I need, and that's all you need, like, give it to them. And that's where the marketing, where the business is going nowadays. So you don't really take it by like real talents. Like seriously, look at Pharrell. Pharrell put like over 15 million. How the fuck? 15 million in like 1 year into his marketing.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Of course, that is gonna be all over the place. You know, but it's just wrong because
it's unfair, isn't it? Really.
Now I have people coming to me and talking like Pharrell is a god, as if Pharrell is Prince. I'm like, Pharrell is a piece of shit. If you want, come on, leave me alone. You know, like that's.
But he's kind of happy. He didn't make the song happy though, man. Happy.
Nah, that's all marketing. Who knows what fucking poor soul wrote that song?
That's true, actually. You're right. Yeah, you've touched a nerve here because I'm thinking. See how they do it. They get a guy in. They say, okay, we need a front man. So like you said, puppet. And then they're like, okay, he's like, yeah, I can write. He's like, nah, we don't want you writing. We've got all these guys to write for you. So these guys are going to, even I looked at Alicia Keys the other day, man. Alicia Keys don't even write half her song. I love Alicia Keys, man. Right? But if you look at the credits on her songs, she's written a song with like 5 or 6 different people. It's like, hold on a minute. Wait there. So they keep the money, you know. Yeah, they give her like 2%. Here you go, you're 2%, and you got you fame and you got your fame and you know image, and we'll just take the rest. You know what I mean? I don't like that.
I remember like a few years ago when they were working on this Rihanna album. It was they made this hit camp, and some producers came into this house, and the whole album came together in like less than 2 weeks without Rihanna even being there for once. Like that album was, even the recording, that studio singers that just sounded like Rihanna. So they recorded that whole album. Everything was mixed. Everything was done before she even came to the studio.
Really?
So all she had to do was like learn the parts, sing it 1-to-1, and that was it. That's really it.
Jesus Christ, man.
Cashing.
Dropping knowledge, man.
Ching, 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 ching. Crazy, man. Crazy. I'm sorry, I've had to move location 3 times because we've got a storm happening over here right now.
I just heard,
yeah, I can see it.
And I got shifted out of the kitchen because the wife's just come back, so she's making noise. So I'm now in the front room with my dog that's panting like. Yeah,
it's too hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, DJ Sherry, I remember you telling me a story about you making up a sample. I can't remember exactly, but you figured it out from scratching something. Do you remember that story?
Playing with my zipper.
I think with your zipper or something, you were scratching something, and someone was like, "Oh, that's really great," and you put it in a track, and people were like, "Whoa, that's a good sample, man."
Yeah. That was the first time I was called into like a real studio. It was like somebody was looking for that effect, and I was just playing on my pants. I was wearing these winter pants and the zipper, making rhythms, and then he was like, "Man, my brother's looking for something like this in his studio." I was like, "What's this guy's studio?" It's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "All right, but let's get the turntables. I'm not gonna do it with the fucking zipper, right?"
Wow.
Yeah, that was my first experience in the studio.
Yeah, so you've been around a long time, man. Anyone else got any questions?
No, man.
So, what's next, man? What's next for you? What after this COVID nonsense has kind of eased down? Wow. What's the plan for you? Where are you going? Where can we see you on the turntables of steel?
Saying that because you've been hit, haven't you? Really? Because I know you do production and stuff on the side, but I guess one of your main gigs is that you're a DJ, so you're going in the clubs every night. And the 1-2s.
For minutes, I totally forgot about the madness, but now you just
sorry, man. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, man.
Sorry, man.
I'm actually in lockdown now.
It's not your
fault. So I'll share in your tragedy.
Only because I'm hoping to come to Germany. So I mean, Wayne took me to a club for his stag do, which was absolutely amazing.
Euro Palace.
Ever since this madness started, I've only had cancelled gigs so far. Like this year, I wasn't able to play any of the gigs, and especially also because I play like bigger bigger gigs. Like we have this one place called Euro Palace. Is like massive. 2,000-3,000 people fit in there. So I play there once a month, and I play in Saarland and in Switzerland for this promoter, which is like big halls, 3,000 to 5,000 people. So none of that is going to happen for a long time, I'm sure. And then on the production,
at home and stuff. Are you working on material at home? New stuff for when
when it all started, I went like all the other DJs, I guess. I did like a live set from home, but only because I had a customer who paid it. Like I was more or less playing a show from home, being paid.
Nice.
Get that money. Get that money.
Hey, you should think about that. Actually, it's a good.
But then just to go live for my crowd, that is too much of a hustle for me. I mean, I have my radio show, and I don't know. It's just I have friends, I have artists that I produce who do go live on Twitch and different platforms, and they make probably good money with it. But for me, it's just not. One thing I realized, like, you know, like when you watch daytime TV, it's trash program, right? It's the trash of the trash, like, because that's the audience. You go by the majority. So on these platforms, whatever it is, Twitch and Bingos and whatever platforms, even if you go on Instagram or whatever, all this live shit. Bear in mind, the majority of the people is still trash out there, right? So the music I'm playing wouldn't speak to many of the people out there. So if I was gonna play some really shit Mallorca hits or some, you know, like cheesy whatever stuff on Bigo or on Twitch, it would probably be working better. But for my stuff I'm doing, I need my crowd, and I'm
well, that's where the energy. That's what I'm gonna say. That's the thing is. I do training, I do sales, but for me, it's about energy. People bring energy, and energy gives you the energy to give it back to them, and then they give it back to you, and then you give it back to them, and then they give it back to you, and before you know it, you just like it's just this circle, man, and then you know, and you can't get that. You cannot get that over a camera. I mean, you can capture the essence of someone's, you know, person being, but that energy is difficult to kind of capture en masse. You know, see those places.
I need my crowds, and also another thing is, I've never been a set player. Like I never did shows. Of course, like if you're booked as a tour DJ, you have to do your set. Yeah, otherwise the artist is like fucked. But other than that, when I DJ in a club, I really like to keep it spontaneously. Like if I feel like playing whatever, then you know, and that's really depending on the crowd and the energy I'm getting, and it's all about bringing up and down, right? So you don't want to like hype them to the whole night, so you want to bring them down so they can have some drinks and bring it back up again and
work that crowd, work them.
Right. So when I'm playing at home, I'm like, man, what am I doing? Where am I going? I can only go from
that's what I noticed. The way you control the crowd with your music. It's like, yo, he's bringing it up. Then all of a sudden, it's like a drop a slow jam. And I'm like, now I'm gonna dance with my girl and that. And then you drop like a dirty South style beat. Back. I love that, man. And I actually learned that happens from you. And it was like, I didn't know that DJs did that sort of thing. But then I think I was speaking to you about it and someone else, and they were telling me, hey, do you notice the way he controls the crowd? I was like, actually, I never realized that, man. But yeah, I mean, it happens.
Right. That's why there was a techno. I think it was Gabba techno, and literally it's the same beat at the same beats per minute all the way through. So there's no time for you to go through a drink because it's like and so like it's literally like that. It's amazing to watch. Obviously, you do need some help staying awake and all that, but but it's big.
I think that's kind of like you got to take, it's like speed. You know, you got to take these drugs to kind of survive.
I don't know what times with drugs you're talking. I mean, I got about coffee or Red Bull. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking like, you know, Gabba style. You need like speed. It's like techno. and trance.
No,
high
because
trance.
there's certain type. Thing is, there's certain types of techno, and that's the thing. You see, you know, you can, and that's the thing with music is that even though you might have a genre, there's also subgenres of a genre, and there's also in some cases subgenres of that genre. If you think of, for example, drum and bass, which then became jungle, which then became intelligent drum and bass, which then became liquid drum and bass. You know, all these initiations of one thing, and some of them have got the defining style. It's like I used to love LTJ Bookham. I would follow LTJ Bookham around the UK, man. Now, he was real down-tempo drum and bass, but because he had Conrad MCing over all of these things, it sounded dread. You know what I mean? But then you had the opposite end of the scale, like Randall, Shy FX, Mickey Finn, who were like, jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. You know what I mean? So it's music's beautiful, man. Music is beautiful. I think anytime I'm feeling down, I just put on my tunes, and I think it's a soul thing, man. It touches your soul, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like Michael said, music has healing powers, and for me, it's definitely like one thing that my wifey had to like really get along with was. The music is my first love, right? Like number one
to know, man. She has to be told, man.
Did you ever meet Michael Jackson?
No, unfortunately, I never met Michael Jackson. I met his dodgy manager. He had this weird German dude. Yeah. But no, I never. I met Lataya Jackson. I met her.
Okay.
And man, I was just about like just to pull her pants down or something. I was so sure that's just Michael covering up.
Really? Looked like
I was like, no, this is not Lataya.
I was going to say, if you'd have said Janet, then I would have definitely said, yeah, man, I'd have been behind you for that.
Isn't Lataya Jackson's attractive too, though, isn't she?
Yeah, but Janet Jackson, man, when she did the Rhythm Nation tour, she had on all her her leathers and all her gloves and that, and she was looking like she was ready to fight you, beat you down. Yeah, man.
So what do you think do you think it's easier now to be a DJ as opposed to back in the day? Because obviously you used to have to look for your records, and you know, but now you got everything's MP3. How do you feel about the modern day DJ? Because I think a lot of people are kind of winging it, you know what I mean? They're kind of fake.
Yeah, like everybody's a DJ nowadays, isn't it?
That's it.
And also another thing is, ever since the 90s, which became the DJ years, as far as producers, all big name producers was DJs, the sampling sound and stuff we talked about. Yeah. So now DJs playing another role, like the record companies discovered that they can make DJs is just a service guy if you book him for a wedding, but DJ also can be a brand. So that's what they figure out like really early and start like ruin the whole DJ aspect. Like for example, I'm gonna have to like I don't usually like dissing people, but in this case I'm gonna have to do it. So you get like projects like let's say there's some German dude sitting in a record company, whatever, Sony Ultra, whatever, big Sony company, right? So he's saying like, all right, we need a new project. We need a new DJ project. So then he listens to some songs, whatever the publishing site, Sony ATV has on the table, like the peak ones. So they're like, oh yeah, this is a good song. So, all right. So now we have a song. So we need a dude to put him as a DJ. So they just look around maybe for 5 minutes on some Facebook, Instagram, find some young idiots in some town in the boonies, something absolutely irrelevant guy. And they go to his parents, they talk to the parents, and they're like, all right, so we make a contract, this is what's gonna look like, this is what he's gonna do. So from one day to another, they come up with stories and songs that are hitting the charts like massively, and then you have like some, let's say, Robin Schulz or Felix Jen. And then, so now people compare, they'll be like, so you're a DJ and Felix Jen is a DJ too, but he's a real DJ, right? You're not a real DJ. And you're like, man, he's not even producing, he can't even play.
Yeah.
And it's just a puppet again. That's just what they put in your head.
Well, what annoys me is when you get these like these cheesy like film stars who then decide that they're going to, you know, be DJs. And we've had it happen a few times over here where someone from Coronation Street has been given permission to spin the wheels of steel, man. And, you know, people have turned up to hear them play the same music that the guy was playing the week before, but because they're playing it, it makes it more special. That annoys the life out of me. It really does. But
that's what I feel about like David Guetta and people like this. I'm like, huh?
Calvin Harris.
Yeah, I'm just like, huh? What is
Calvin Harris?
What the hell?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, see, Calvin Harris. I actually think he's brought some really good tunes out back in the day.
I mean some of these kids even develop later. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they're all shit. You know what I mean? They for sure have a passion and some sort of talent there, and enough money to actually get some lessons or whatever, you know.
Calvin Harris, he has brought out some zingers, man. I can't deny.
Oh yeah, Flintstones are badass, bro.
I remember when Afrojack started, Afrojack was just putting stuff on the internet, and in the meantime, he was working in a club in Rotterdam as a barman. And when I used to DJ there, I used to love Nick. Nick is Afrojack. When he was at the bar, because he would always hook me up. And the producers who was producing Chucky at the time decided to go for the new project, like produce another DJ and make him big. And Afrojack came as a project. Like, he was not involved in any of the music that they were producing. He was not a real DJ even yet. But then with the time, he became really good. Even as a producer, he became really good. You know? I guess he was just blessed enough, especially after fucking Paris Hilton. It was like he was on the next level already, you know.
Paris Hilton? Yeah. Was your DJ too?
That's what I'm on about. Fake celebrities, man.
I'm sure she's a DJ. I'm sure I saw one.
She has DJ'd, man. I've seen her messing around on decks like she knows what she's doing. Huh?
I have this one story I have with Paris, I have to say. There was this one night I was supposed to DJ for some special event where Paris Hilton was coming. And because I knew the manager, I didn't ask for money. All I asked for was, like, give me a picture with Paris that I can use officially.
Okay.
So he agreed, but then the night went really mad. Like, it was too crowded, too much of a press, and I never got to take my picture, right? But I was with Rod Hot, like a G-Unit member, and Paris had just shagged 50 Cent, which came really bad for her marketing. So when the manager knew that I was with Rod Hot, with G-Unit guy, he said, Sherry, please, you have to stay away from Paris. Please don't even, like, I don't need any of that shit G-Unit come back again, right? So I had to take care of Hot Rod, and the only way was, like, just get him drunk. So I was getting drunk myself too. And then after this event, we were going on a, like, underground event, something I had hooked up for them at a club called Zanzibar at that time. But it was, like, just private, right? Like, nothing official. So we went to that club, and then I was already pissed. Paris got really pissed, and then I caught a moment where the security was just lacking, right? Like, they were not looking. And I took my phone, and I still have this video. I never released it yet, but I took my phone. It was a shit, like one of those iPhone 3s. I had to turn it around with the lights.
Yeah.
So I'm holding my phone and walking up as drunk as I was to Paris, right? And she's standing on this couch dancing. And I go like, Paris. And then she's like, yes, hon. I don't know why. The next thing I said, I still don't know why I said it. Because all I could see was her tits in my face, right? She was standing on this couch, right? So when she came down and said, yes, hon, I said, can I have a bite? And then she said, what? And then she pointed to her tits. I was like, can I have a bite? And she was like, okay. So she pulled it down, and I'm taping this with my thing. I'm going, blah, 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 kissing his nipples, right?
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah. And then it took, like,
that's worth some money, though.
It felt like 3 minutes, but it was probably 3 seconds. The security took my arm, and, like, they took me away. And
he was good.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the manager came up to me, and he was like, Sherry, since you didn't get your picture, I let you keep that fucking video, but don't ever release it. Like,
no, really.
All right.
Send it to me. I'll release it.
I know you would.
I'll release it. We'll all be
that was really funny. That was,
Blackopolypse exclusive.
Yeah. We'll all be famous after that. So what would you recommend now for someone who wants to get into DJing? What would you recommend? Would you recommend to go with the old routes, like the way you learned it? Or would you say, you know what, just skip all that, go to the new stuff? Because I think there's like a pilgrimage you got to do to become a DJ. It's the same with me. I say when you got to play the piano, there's a pilgrimage you got to
It depends who that person is. If it was like my kid, I'd be like, nah, man, forget that shit. Go study something, go learn something proper and all that shit. But,
if you have to, you have to do it.
If it was someone like me who would like not give a fuck and would definitely want to go his way, then there's nothing you can tell him, man. Just find your passion, find your love, and go for it.
Okay. All right, good. So, also, you're a producer. Do you still use Logic, or did you move to Pro Tools? I can't remember.
Working with Americans, I get a lot of times Pro Tools sessions, but it's more of a headache for me. So I stay with the Logic.
Yeah, I like Logic too. Logic Power, man. Yeah. So what would you recommend for somebody who's starting out as a producer? You know what? This is another thing I hate. I saw a guy the other day. He was like 17 and he got lucky, because that's what it is. You get lucky sometimes. You send the track out and everyone likes it for some reason. And, this guy did a video about, and I've been producing now for a year and I'm like the best thing, and I'm like, dude, I've been producing for like over 20 years. Okay, I've never had a hit, but that's not because I'm crap. That's because I didn't get the right marketing. You got lucky, and now you made it.
It's a very tough times now. Like, not too long ago, one of my fan kids always like send messages and stuff. He asked me if I would listen to some of his tracks, and I was like, man, I didn't even know you produce, right? Mm-hmm. So he sent me some tracks, and I was blown away. I was thinking like, there's no way this kid. I mean, those effects and everything behind the production, it was just perfect. So I had to invite him in. I was like, how do you produce these tracks? He was like, I just have my laptop. I was like, all right, just bring your laptop. So he came with his laptop. And what happened was he was using mom's credit card to buy all kinds of sample CDs, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he was just pulling together those presets.
Yeah. And
barely, those presets, there's some really good sample CDs out there. Or like even on master loops or whatever. It's not a shame to use them, but it's a shame if that's all you can do. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to actually produce a song, if you don't know about effects, about frequencies, there's so much behind it that makes music interesting, makes it become alive. So a lot of those kids are riding off some companies, some smart companies making sure that's lots of money with these sample CDs, but they're riding off their hype. Like they're not real producers to me.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too. I'm like, you're not a producer, man. You got lucky. You got some. It's like using one of them programs like Fruity Loops or something back in the day. And you got all the preset, like you said, preset samples and put them together.
I suppose though, in one way, anyone who does get lucky, it does then open up. It then does open up the possibility that they're going to then go off and learn their trade properly. So you think? Yeah. Some. But the thing is, a true artist. So this young boy, for argument's sake, he's realised that he can put things together and make them sound good. Now he knows that in order for him to go further, he's going to have to understand the mechanics of sound. Like DJ said.
Yeah, like I said, there's always a possibility for them to develop. Go off
and learn his craft, and then actually start putting his own stamp on his music as well. So some people get lucky, mate. It's just one of those, isn't it? One of those. You've got 6,000 record songs on your hard drive, and you're moaning about not being found. How many of those 6,000 records are out there again?
I'm doing a sample CD.
What?
I'm doing a sample CD.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Well, listen, I always think back to when I was driving vans to Scotland every day, and I love my job, man. And this one banger of a tune came out, and it was an instrumental, and it was by a young French producer who he's so young that his tune wasn't even allowed to go into the clubs to hear his tune getting drops. And there's a guy called Madian. I don't know if you know him, DJ Sherry, and he did a song called Icarus. And this was such a big kind of dubstep kind of tune. It was just big, man. The breakdowns and the chopping of this song was something else, man. And it was just such a big tune that, you know, that guy displayed his talents. And there are some exceptional young people coming through in every part of music, including DJs. But like I say, you're getting a lot of people now who are just looking to use equipment and to do the work for them. And, you know, like I say, little cheats and that to get themselves to the end goal. And some it's a shame because it will work, but for others, you know, they actually want to take the long path. They want to go through the painstaking thing of learning their craft and applying it. And I think that's the beautiful thing. That's when you find the beautiful music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like I said,
look out that tune if you don't know it. Madian, Madeon, and the song's called Icarus. It's a badass tune, man. That tune is bad.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. All right, guys. You know what? Let's cut this for today. But I hope we can get you on again, man. Sherry, what do you say, man? Can you come on again?
Yeah, man. Sherry, man. Listen, man. I've got to come to one of your clubs when you're playing.
Yes.
I'm gonna put on the most comfortable footwear I can find. I'm gonna dance, man.
Actually, I'll tell you, I tried to get him for my wedding, man. He was like my first choice, but I couldn't get him that day, man.
Yes.
Want to get married again? You're the
Very soon. Yes,
right, man.
Thanks for having me there. Just hit me up. We stay in contact, yeah?
Yeah, you got anything to promote? Your Instagram, what's your Instagram and everything? Your handles?
Yeah, man. Just hit me up wherever. Instagram.
DJ Sherry.
DJ Sherry. Facebook, DJ Sherry Show. And Mixcloud, you can listen to my shows, yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yes, man.
Fans. Simon, you got anything to say?
No, man, this tune, man. I just feel like it should get more of an airing, man. I feel like we should just get it up and rock it.
I'll have the sample. I'll use it in my group.
Today.
I'm gonna send it to you. Now, do you got anything?
DJ Sherry, man, it's really honoured to hear you, to hear your stories. I think there's so much. We've just scratched the surface, really.
Yeah.
So I think when lockdown's over, I'm gonna buy a bottle of Hague, and I'm gonna come over to Frankfurt. We're gonna just find the bar, sit outside, and we'll sit, and you can tell me the rest, man. Tell me everything else.
For sure. All right.
I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
I'm bringing the space cakes, man. Sack it.
I'm just gonna hit you up with one of these.
Wicked.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you next week, man.
Guys.
All right.
Easy,
Peace.
See you later, man. See you later.